More happened this year, than this decade, than anyone could have ever really imagined. So let's take a quick look back and see what happened in my life in the 2010s. In February, on my birthday, I auditioned for a little game show called Brain Surge. You might have heard of it, who knows. Just to try and get a little leeway with the judges or the producers, whoever was looking at me that day. I had my parents make me a little custom t-shirt that said something like, oh, I really want to be on the show. It's been my lifelong dream to be on a game show. And who would have thought that would have worked? I didn't, but I wouldn't know that for a couple of weeks. Later that month, my family took a trip up to the mountains to have a little fun in the snow. And despite me hating the cold with every ounce of my body, it looks like we had fun. I used to be in a program called Awanas, and that was kind of like a really early version of youth group for kids who are in elementary school. And it happened at night, and one day, or I guess one period of time, they decided to have like a little custom car racing program to see who could design and build the best car. I made my car this year to be themed around my old YouTube channel, Igloo Set. Made it totally looking just like an igloo, threw on my website on there. Didn't win any prizes though, but I did get some nice free promotion. April 1st, the day had finally come. It was the day I would have to go up to Hollywood, California, a big, scary place, and film my episode. Now I have a whole other video linked up here, I think in that corner, who knows, explaining everything that went down. So go ahead and check that out if you'd like. But long story short, it went well. I had a bunch of friends come into the audience and watch, and afterwards we went to dinner and had a nice time. Oh yes, we used to have Legoland passes. Now living in Southern California, like a certain triangular part, you're an hour away from anything, but you're an hour away from everything, which meant we not only had Disney passes, but we also had Legoland passes. So we would go down every so often, and this year we decided to watch the fireworks on 4th of July, and sometimes they'd give you little 3D glasses that would make the Lego brick fireworks kind of pop out, and it was kind of cool. So we watched them from the parking lot as it was a lot less crowded than the rest of the park. And later that month, on July 15th, my Brain Surge episode finally aired, and everyone got to see me get second place. I mean, it was still a fantastic experience, and I would love to do it again in the future. Nickelodeon, buddy, pal, get me back on something, anything. But it was super fun, and I'm glad that episode happened. Also, super random memory just came back to me. I hope I can find the photo. I met Mr. Mosby in 6th grade at a Palm Springs resort. I had no shirt on. We were swimming the lazy river, me and my brother, and we were looking over and going, is that him? And it was, and he was super sweet, super kind. Let's take a photo, and that was that. No one really believed me. And then I got a phone, and I could show them the photo, and they're like, oh my God, Isaac. Speaking of school, I started 6th grade that year, which meant I had no friends for reasons I might get into in another video. But luckily, I met some really kind people, including Christian. Growing up, we really only listened to one radio station, and that would have been the Christian radio station of Air 1. So I really didn't have much outside of the Wiggles to base music off of, that or church. So when I got to go to my first concert, I'm like, cool, what's it gonna be? Toby Mac, another Christian artist who was really cool and I liked at the time. And it was nice. It was at a concert hall that ended up getting torn down to be have Harry Potter World be built atop of it here in California. But a really cool experience nonetheless. This February, I ended up turning 12. Big shock, it's only 2011. And I started the trend of having a photo on my birthday with both of my dogs in my arms. A few things happened this April. Number one, we went to the number one place I hate in the world the most. That is the beach, for reasons I'll explain later. Maybe. Number two, I bought myself an iPad 2 and immediately outed myself as a furry. Oops. And finally, we got to go back to the Angels Stadium, our local baseball stadium, and see a game. It's fun. I like baseball. That's the only sport that I can kind of tolerate outside of kickball. That counts. That counts. Because I'm saying it counts. Skipping some months, in that July, I was able to win an Xbox 360 by beating everyone else at my church's youth group in Minute to Win It challenges. Is it because my dad used to work on the show? I doubt it. Was it because I have good control over my face? Probably because I just destroyed everyone in Face the Cookie. I'm really good at that game. I entered 7th grade this year. Look at that photo. I am so young. That is crazy. Skipping a few more months to October, I decided to be a prisoner escapee. For some reason, so I went in all orange and decided to spray dye my hair orange. To this day, I don't know why. I think I just had a can of it and went, huh, what's orange? I should do this. And at some point, Rubik's Cube started to kind of become a large facet of my personality, so I started to take them with me wherever I went, including school, and I got yelled at a few times by some teachers, but we're not going to talk about that. We ended the year with me finding a very large pop-up camping chair and a trip to Disneyland. Another year, another birthday, another dog photo, and you better believe that with another, that means another Disneyland photo. We used to have passes back then, and you better believe that I used to have a little plan worked out with my mom where we would go either to the first service Sunday, or we would go to Saturday night service at church, and then just have a free day of Disney on Sundays, and it would be completely empty until like 2, but the lines were fantastic. It was amazing. I miss those days. And in April, we adopted our third little puffball of white cottonness. His name is Boomer, and he is adorable, and I will fight anyone who says otherwise. You know, it's been a little while since we checked on my cube collection. Let's take a quick look. Ooh, look at those graphics. Can you tell I did it myself? Because I bet you could. It wasn't very good. But I started taking a cube or 6 with me whenever we went to the Disney park so I could entertain myself in line back before I had a phone to do that for me or a friend that had a pass. Come June meant 3 things. Our dogs being very happy to be inside. When we were outside, we were in the pool, or if we weren't in the pool, we were at the Angel Stadium having fun at the Angel Stadium because it's a baseball stadium. We liked baseball as kids. I don't really have anything else for the summer, so skipping that, I started 8th grade. It was a really fun year, in particular because outside of just having a bunch of fun classes and having a nice group of friends that I was finally with, my TV Dig class ended up taking a joint field trip with our advanced drama class up to Universal Studios the day after the Hollywood Horror Nights ended, and that would have been November 1st, I think. And we got there early in the morning. A thick fog laid throughout the whole park, and all the decorations were still up. It was slightly traumatizing. I still like the parks, though, but I haven't been back since. Now, 2013, I started something off that I never thought I would have. I was the first group to get onto a train to leave the station at the start of the year, and we got to ride Gold Rush, I believe, on the first time of the year. We got to see the fireworks in the park. It was really, really cool. I wish I could do that more often. Let's skip to the summer real quick. My dad and I picked up Six Flags passes because, hey, it's only like an hour away. Why don't we go? And we did, and we had a blast. I had only been like maybe a few roller coasters at that point, some at San Diego, at SeaWorld San Diego, Legoland, Disney, and Knott's. But Magic Mountain is just completely different. It's a whole other world, and I love it. I only go like once a year now, but it's something fantastic that I really want to pick up doing more in 2020. Oh, I almost forgot! My family enrolled me and my brother in karate lessons because of an incident that happened in 8th grade, and I hated every second of it until I finished that class, and I was so happy to just throw away and burn everything that I had to use for that. I didn't do that. I think we donated it, but I wish I could have thrown it away and burned it. I had too many bad memories. I ended up going into high school that year, moved from 8th to 9th grade. Our schools were really close, not just in the way they ran things, but also proximity. So there wasn't really a time difference other than waking up that stupid early to get to school. But I think that was a pretty good year. Skipping over my 14th birthday, let's take a quick look at March this year. Now, a certain Drake and Josh character, you might know him as Drake Bell, threw a concert at my high school for some reason. I still don't understand why. But while me and my friends were out making frisbees, custom frisbees, here's the one I made, I guess someone flipped him off during the concert, so he decided to flip us off back. And that's the only thing I took away from that concert. Well, that and the frisbee, but yeah. I also went indoor skydiving with my best friend Christian. Told you he'd pop up more. He's great. And my brother, but that was a really fun experience that I wish it was closer or less expensive, that I could do more often, because it was really fun. The summer brought us a bunch of cool things. I went to Magic Mountain with my dad more often. I ended up going with him and my mom to the first ever Nickelodeon's Kids' Choice Sports Awards, which I don't know if it's still going on, but I do have a bag somewhere in my closet full of a bunch of just free stuff that they gave away, and it was an experience. I don't know if it was good because I don't remember much from the show, but it was interesting to say the least. I kind of also convinced my mom to drive us out to San Diego and wait 8 hours for the possibly maybe chance to see the first screening to the public ever of a movie that I've been kind of following the production for about a year of, based on a small book series. You might not have heard about it. It's called The Maze Runner. Who knows? Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, waited 8 hours, saw it, loved it, and I might have made my parents and extended family drive me out to see 2 more advanced screenings before it finally came out in theaters for the public, so I could see it another like 2 times, because I really like that. God, I hope Maze Runner doesn't become another important facet of my personality, or we are going to start having some major problems. Oh, right, I started 10th grade this year. This was fun because I was finally able to enter my high school's TV dish production class, and after talking with my teacher for 1 class period, she decided to, at the semester, move me over into the advanced portion of the class. It was a combo class. We had mostly intro class teaching kids how to edit, and then 4 students in the advanced portion making the school's daily news every other day. And they needed someone who knew what they were doing. Who knows what they were doing? I knew what they were doing and what I was doing as well. Additionally, throughout my whole high school career in TV Dig, we had 3 main editors in my graduating class. We had Make It Pretty, Get It Done, and Sports. I was Get It Done, so whenever a team went out to shoot and went way over time and came back with footage super late, they would just send it to me and I would make everything on time. Rounding out the year, I have 3 more points. My great-grandma turned 98. I have another cute photo of my dog. Look at them. They are super cute. I think one is at the door wanting to get in right now. And finally, it snowed here. This is Southern California, like in the valley. It doesn't do that. It hadn't snowed in over 10 years, and it just decided to snow one day. And when I say everyone in town went out to look for it, everyone in town came out and snowed and totally trashed this vacant plot of land by making a giant 8 or 10 foot tall ball of snow that they rolled down. And after the snow melted, there was like a bunch of tracks from sleds and everything. But it was a nice day. It was a really nice day. Welcome January 2015. I found out this year that the best time to go to Six Flags Magic Mountain, now listen to me really quick. If you live in California, don't use this trick because I want this still to work for me, but everyone else, you're good. Go during the 2nd to 3rd week of January. At that point, all of the LA County kids should be going back to school, so that if you go there from rope drop to about noon to 2, no lines. You can do every ride in the park and get sick of it by going on 2 or 3, 4 times before you start to have a wait of 20, 30 minutes at most, at which point you're done. And you can leave before the traffic hits. We also went back to Disney and got stuck on Space Mountain, a thing I have literally been praying for years, and it happened. It was cool. At one point, I did have a video of this on my YouTube channel where they just came back, pushed us, and we rode on with the lights. But my channel's dead, and we'll get to that point. Come birthday month, I turned 16, I had my baby cousin born, and we had a bunch of more Disney trips because passes, and who doesn't want to go to Disney? Additionally, the new 3DS came out by Nintendo, and you know I had to get one. In May, my family surprised us with a trip to the Paradise Pier Hotel, and we got to stay on site at Disney, go to the park a few times. That was really fun. At one point following that, we ended up going and taking a trip to Northern California to visit some family, and we did it as a road trip. We drove up there for 8-9 hours with our dogs, and they slept most of the time, while I could not because I was very uncomfortable, and I did not want to go on this trip for the most part, but hey, I did, and everything's fine. We also went back to Palm Springs and Magic Mountain. I tried to get my little cousin into cubes with a cube pillow. I don't know if he still has it, but I bet he might have outgrown it at some point. I did end up building my own computer at some point. I bought it all myself, built it, only freaked out twice or so. Did cut myself on the I/O shield though, which is good. Lapis ran very well for the budget that I had, and I think my brother has it now. Hey, Isaac, remember that little film franchise called The Maze Runner? Yeah? Well, the sequel's out now. You're going to go to 2 more screenings before the movie comes out, and then drag your friends to see it with you, because this is your life currently. One of the screenings that I went to was up in LA with my mom, and I got to have a Q&A with the director, Wes Ball. He was an incredibly kind person that I hope I can meet again in the future. So, let's end the year with another dog photo and see what the next year has. Now look, 2016, I'm telling you, the best day ever to go to Six Flags Magic Mountain is January 16th. It is just in that date range of 2nd to 3rd week that I told you last year, and it worked again, and my brother almost threw up because we did Full Throttle twice in a row, Goliath twice, and then he's like, cool, we're done now. We're like, no. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna throw up. We're like, cool, we're leaving. I'm like, aw. Also, I took a robotics class this year in high school, and we got to take a trip down to HP in San Diego. Now, when I say robotics class in HP, are you thinking computers? Because we did too, but it turns out it was printers. But that was still really fun. We learned a lot more about printers that I never would have even imagined. We saw their R&D department, saw a bunch of things. It was a really cool experience for people who didn't know / care about printers. And I think I still have a print of my robotics class hanging up in my wall somewhere. But speaking of my robotics class, Christian and I were partners in that class, and after we absolutely blew through the online courses that we were supposed to do over 2 semesters in the span of less than 1, my teacher was not only impressed, but upset. So he had us play with other robot kits in physical world. So we built this one. His name is Eder. I think this one's Eder. It might be a different name. And he couldn't do much outside of following a line, which he did pretty well. So we then went, hey, let's build a cube-solving robot, which turned into, hey, let's build a robot that can hopefully turn a face sometimes when you press go. And that was our goal from the rest of second semester to we were over with that class. In April, I went to work with my dad again, and I found out that wearing a Steadicam suit makes you really want to sit down. It puts all the weight right there, and you're just going, okay, I'm lowering down. At one point, me and Christian changed the material that we were building a robot out of from plastic to metal, as whenever we ran the program to turn the cube, it would really warp and do weird things with the motor, so metal made it not do that as much. June meant Vidcon. Now, I had an absolute blast. I met a ton of people that I never thought I would have just by walking around on the halls. I had a creator chat with the always amazing Jake Roper. I met Kevin Lieber. I met Domix. I met a ton of people. I had a ton of fun, and I really hope I get to do that more often. Spoiler alert, I do, and I'm even going in 2020 because I didn't this year, and I really should have, and I'm going. I'm going. See me there.
Hey, past me, it's future you. VidCon isn't happening. COVID happened instead, so everything that was going to happen this year just isn't. Love the optimism, though. That's great. Keep it up.
In July, we went to take some preliminary senior photos to see if we'd like the location or the outfit, and I really like this photo in particular. It's really nice, and I think I had it as my profile picture on some social media at some point because it's just really nice. Oh, I almost forgot. I bought my own camera, like a real camera, a Canon G7X Mark II. Totally not because Tomska bought one. And finally, I started my senior year in high school. Here's a quick look at all my IDs across 4 years. One of them is really faded because it was the image came off in my wallet, but I went from short hair to long hair to kind of okay long hair. Just kidding, got really long towards the end of the year, and I really wish I would have gotten a haircut sooner, but who cares? Hey, Isaac, remember how you really like the Maze Runner movies? Remember how you haven't met the author yet? Just kidding, now you have. I went to a little Q&A book signing for the only good prequel for the Maze Runner series called The Fever Code, and I met the author, who was really nice, and filmed a little flag introduction for my high school news, if I remember correctly. But he was really cool, and it was really nice meeting you, James Dashner. I also made a lot of really cool friends, made a lot of really cool people throughout my TV Dig class. Here's a photo of the main group that I filmed with. Now, quick story time. We early, like if school started in August, at the end, if not middle of September, we placed a rather large order of gear for our TV production class. We were running on a bunch of old T3Is, and we needed just a lot of stuff. So we placed that order. Take a guess at how late in the school year we got that new order. Time's up. We got it with 2 days left to use it. We got the bulk of everything on the second to last day before seniors just didn't come to class anymore. But we had fun with it. We got to mess around with a cool jib arm for like a solid day and a half. And we got an ADD, I think. A lot of equipment that I am happily to hear from my brother that the class is putting to good use, but that was a little upsetting. Thanks, school district board. The only thing that came out of October of 2016 was that I made a little Pringle ring, a ringle, if you will. So in November, my family and I go to do an escape room. We have a lot of fun, and I really hope this doesn't become another hyper obsession of mine. In December, I started to go with my dad to a show he films on Christmas Eve, which does not make my mom happy. Do I continue to do it? Yes, I do, because it's a cool show. Sorry, Mom. We started to really film weird things, weird and fun things with one of the security guards on campus for our TV Dig class. And Fields, if you're watching this, dude, you're a fantastic person. And I don't think we would have been able to pull off half the stuff we did with anyone else. So thank you for being you, and I hope you continue that tradition with future classes. Also, we went ziplining. I love ziplining. I never do it, very rarely it seems, but ziplining, super cool, A+. And then the day finally came. Me and Christian waited outside our GameStop for a few hours to pick up our pre-orders of the Nintendo Switch, and we just had a blast later that day playing 1-2 Switch together. Here are some highlights. So I keep forgetting to include this because there's so many photos of it, but me and my friends, more often than not, would end up at Carl's Jr. after school most days, especially once we got our Switch, so we can just sit there and eat and play 1-2 Switch or Mario Kart or something. It was a nice tradition. Now, being a senior, we got to do a bunch of cool class trips, one of being which we went to Knott's Berry Farm. I don't remember when or why, but we did, and I have this video, which is cool. I think that's Clarissa going on like a spinny thing. Oh yeah, we did prom. Prom was fun. Here's a photo of Christian in a helicopter. Because our prom was at an aviation museum. How cool is that? I also took a trip back to Disneyland to check up on Tower of Guardians now. At this point, no one really knew much about the ride outside of, oh hey, it's Tower Terror, but Guardians now. And I was very upset about how it looked until I saw it in person and went, okay, that's pretty. I'll take it. Let me write it first. I didn't get to write it until grad night, which was a fantastic day of just fun. I got to hang out with all of my friends at once, people in my extended friend group here and there. It was just a fantastic day, and it was absolutely worth getting yelled at by one of my friends for forcing her onto Guardians, because she would have chickened out otherwise, but she loved it. And good ride. Guardians, A+. Lost my voice the very first thing we rode, and it was Guardians. Absolutely worth it. We also went to Denny's after. Like, immediately after. We get dropped off at our school at like 3 in the morning. You guys hungry? Yeah, let's go to Denny's. Oh yeah, one of my friends started house sitting for her old choir teacher, and we would just go over and swim and have fun, stay the night sometimes. We ended up having to catch a moth, or try to kill a moth, or catch it. And here's a clip from that if it's in this month. Otherwise, you'll see this later.
What the fuck? We should open the front door and then turn off the light. Okay.
And how could I forget graduating, first off? That was a super fun experience, and rehearsal went well. Sat next to one of my best friends, got a photo with her, and that went well. By the way, that's Cassie. You'll see a bit more of her later. And then VidCon. VidCon was VidCon. It was super fun. Not much to talk about here outside of me meeting a bunch of cool people again. Following that, my grandpa took me to Vegas in July to celebrate my 18th birthday, which seems weird at first, but we still did a ton of fun things. We went to like an indoor amusement park, saw Blue Man Group. That was really fun, and just had a really enjoyable experience. And then how could I forget my first ever real gig of being in the industry I want to work as a post-production PA in BlizzCon. Now that sounds kind of boring for those who kind of know what a PA is, but it wasn't. I mean, the first 3 days I sat and played Mario Odyssey on my Switch almost to completion. And then the last 2 days I just ran like 12 miles around the Anaheim Convention Center, passing tapes from camera to truck to camera. But it was really fun, and I have a bunch of cool stories to share one day. January 2018 saw me and my friends hanging out together once again a lot, because that's all we would do, either play online or play in person. Speaking of online and in person, Splatoon. Splatoon was my favorite game on the Wii U, and you better believe I bought my Switch just for Splatoon, let alone a sequel, which we got. So I made all of us get Splatoon, because I am that person in the friend group. Also, that person in the friend group, the Maze Runner, the Death Gear. I got very excited for when the Death Gear started to come out, and I got us tickets, us being me and my grandpa, tickets to the first ever screening and Q&A of the movie at IMAX headquarters. And we kind of sat in the front row and hurt our necks watching the movie, but it was fantastic. I got to meet Wes Ball again. I got him to sign some steelbooks, which is fantastic. Got a photo with him, which I totally flexed on later in my college editing class and got bonus credit for. But great movie. I got to see it again later at the fan screening at the Fan LA premiere. Brought Christian along and one of my Tumblr friends. We sat pretty close, got to see the cast again, and I love that movie. I love the series. It's really good. And of course, I almost forgot, made all my friends marathon the first two movies before going out to see like a very late showing of the third immediately after on the night of its release, and they were very over me with The Maze Runner. So it was good. It was good. They enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I pointed out a few things. They laughed. It was all good. Oh yeah, I turned 19. The last teen year, I guess, went to Red Robin. You really can't go wrong with Red Robin, I learned. And then I went to VidCon. It was a fantastic time this year, probably my favorite VidCon, because I got to meet up with all of the Vsauce people again, Kevin, Michael, Jake, and they were super sweet. They all gave very, very nice hugs. I got to do a creator chat with William Osmond. He was an incredible guy. He stayed for an hour and a half after the chat ended officially, just talking with us outside and took photos. He was super sweet. And then I got to meet MatPat again. I say again because I met him a while ago at the YouTube Red premiere at the YouTube Space LA for his YouTube Red show, and he was an incredible person, and at VidCon, an even kinder person because he remembered me, and I have proof, but long story short, VidCon, very good 2018. I also went to YouTube at E3 because my dad worked it, and the first day he's like, hey, MatPat's here, you want to come tomorrow? I'm like, yeah, I want to come tomorrow. Later that week, I went to my first non-Christian concert. Yes, well, okay, other than the Wiggles, non-Christian, normal music concert for a band called Ninja Sex Party. I like their music. Christian made me go, and I like their music even more now. So thank you, Christian. A+. And the day immediately after that, we went to our local Toys R Us to kind of look around and everything, and found out the store was closing that day. So I found us a bunch of little Toys R Us keychain cards, and we took them. So me and my friends all have a keepsake of Toys R Us. So we would then go to the pool, have more fun there. I started college in August and realized that driving an hour to campus and an hour to up to 2 hours back from campus is awful and I should never do it again. But it's not like I'm going to do it this semester or anything, right? Right? And then I started doing more escape rooms with Christian and Marley, and then just Marley, and then with other friends and this and that. I love escape rooms. They're super fun. And who would have thought that if we take myself and Marley and Cassie and put us together that we can form a team name called Maracas. And I started working for my grandpa, editing stuff for his network and occasionally filming. And the day I took this photo is the day that one of my dogs, Bella's, leg broke. But all is good because shortly after, the day had finally arrived. MatPat, as you know, I am a big game theory fanatic, and I was following along with a little ARG that he had been hosting, and I placed in the first 100 people to finish, and I had just gotten my prize, a really cool lanyard and pin that I still use to this day, and I'm terrified of losing, but it's cool. I really hope there isn't a second ARG that is 7 gates long, several hours worth of work over several months that makes me cry over. So, we slowly transitioned, my group and I, away from video games to more board games for a time, and we started playing the board game Villainous. And plot twist, I got to work that Christmas Eve show as a PA, which meant I got to drive a lot. I didn't do it this year because of that reason. I didn't want to drive a whole lot. And we are finally here at this point in the script where it's the longest point ever, 2019. So much happened this year. Let's start off with getting back from the cold. I immediately got off of an airplane, met up with Christian and his sister and some of my family and friends, and we went over to Anaheim to play Psych Ward at Crosswords and had an absolute blast. I need to play it again after hearing a lot more about it from other groups. I need to play it again. We also went to play a second game at a lesser quality location, and it wasn't good. Marley and I went to play some more games. That is a reoccurring occurrence of just me and Marley, or me, Marley, and Cass, or with additional friends. So, whenever you see photos like that, it's us. So, Christian's birthday is February 1st, 2 weeks before mine. And to give him a little surprise on his 20th birthday, his sister flew me up to visit as like a little gift. We played an escape room up there, went to the park, it would have been nice up there, but it was just really cold. And I hate the cold. I'm filming this with a sweatshirt on purely because I am freezing right now. I had a few goofs of recording a certain video, so here's that clip of me trying to understand what the hell my script said.
This half-hour series, hosted by Nick alumni Jeff Sutman, took 6 kids, took 6 contestants took a group of contestants through different tests of knowledge over 4 rounds.
And one of my favorite pastimes, the Game Theory ARG, threatened to kill me with by posting a teaser a few days before my birthday. MatPat, I am not kidding, I will fight you. Speaking of my birthday, I turned 20. It was super fun. And then my friends have this photo of me being all happy and then blurred because I'm excited. If you know anything about me, you know that I love Nickelodeon and I love game shows, and my dream finally came true. I got to attend the taping of one. My dad got the chance to work on Double Dare, so he, of course, wiggled his way into getting me there, and I had a blast. I met an executive from Nickelodeon who had seen one of my videos, which was incredible. I got a bunch of set photos, got a bunch of information to make a Double Dare video. Go watch that up there, it's really cool. And I just had a ton of fun. I did Magic Mountain with Cassie. We had a ton of fun. And it's the only time I went this year, and I'm really upset about it, but I need to do Six Flags more often, like I said. We also, speaking of Cass, went to a screening Q&A with the director of Detective Pikachu. She went in a onesie. I tried to go as a trainer. I have only played like 1 hour of Pokemon, so I didn't do that well of a job outside of hers. But we had fun. The director liked her question and laughed, and it was a really good movie. I liked it. Me and my friends went to see Endgame, and I will have a story about McDonald's and me driving for a solid hour looking for a 24-hour McDonald's because I thought they always existed at every location for another video. And because it's hot enough already in April to go swimming in California, me and my friends went swimming. Here's me pushing my friend into the pool. I then made my wallet cry by buying a Disney Pass because I'm an adult who knows how to budget things occasionally. Here's a video of Marley finding some new pockets in her bag of 1,000 pockets at Bread Robin.
What did you just find?
A whole new pocket in my purse.
You're so proud.
There's so many pockets. Oh my god, there's even one on the back.
The back pocket.
Speaking of really nice, I managed to be the only person in line for Star Tours at this point, so look at this.
It's just me.
Attention.
What is
The
this?
Boston
It's just me.
Untitled Baggage Center is located on level 1. Bags may
Crazy.
Oh yeah, me and my friends decided to finally play Nintendo Direct Bingo. We all woke up early enough and printed out bingo sheets, and I won because we finally have Spyro on the Switch, and I have been asking for that for like a solid since Nintendo released the Switch, and it's good. I really like Spyro.
Are you ready?
No.
Are you ready?
Yes, very much. I've been ready.
I think they're ready, and I'm ready. Let's start.
Speaking of things that are working, I was great at the new escape room. Marley was great at the new escape room. My YouTube channel got deleted. If you want to know more, go up to that video. Long story short, I did a thing, and my channel's gone, and I have like backups through 2017, and that's it. To make a very long month short, I love escape rooms, as you know by now. Marley loves escape rooms. Marley is my best friend, so anything with escape rooms at this point, I immediately drag her into it. I love the YouTube show Escape the Night. She watches enough to know about it. I'm on a Facebook group for escape room enthusiasts, and I see the director posting a thing saying, hey, we're making an escape room, we need game masters, who wants in? I immediately completely forget that I work at an escape room currently and go, hey, I want in. We call the next day, he hires me, and I'm like, cool. Marley, you want to work at this other event? Cool. We get hired. They give us the info, and we go, oh, we're working. And luckily our boss, Ayana, is super cool, super sweet, and she works it out, so we're doing that most of the days of the week, and then if there's an event or a really busy day, they have us, and we go work Escape the Night. And I'm keeping most of the stories from Escape the Night for another video, but long story short, it was fantastic. I miss everyone there. Joey was really sweet. Adam, you're a wonderful person. I'm still upset MatPat never showed himself up at the event, but I'll get to that. A lot of cool things happened, and I have a few photos and videos from the event that I'll just throw up now. But again, I miss everyone, and I really hope someone very kind picks up that room. Later that month, MatPat ended up having a little meet and greet pop-up event with Pizza Hut to launch their Cheez-It Stuffed Pizza, and I totally didn't call off of work to go to that event. No, not at all. I mean, I just happened to need to do an event up in Hollywood that exact same day, and I stumbled at that Papa John's with my best friends, Cassie and Marley, and met him. The pizza, not cool. MatPat, awesome, great person. We got to say hi. We brought up that we were skate the night. He said, "Oh, we forgot. We were busy. We had a kid." And Marley's like, "Cool. You owe us one." He's like, "Yeah, I pinky promised." So he pinky promised. MatPat, if you're watching this, you pinky promised. Additionally, that brought the end of the Game Theory ARG, essentially, within a couple days of that. And I had made it within the top 200, which means I get a prize.
And here is my prize. It's a really nice quality pin, kind of glittery, kind of shiny. It says Elite at the bottom. The backing was not signed as I wasn't in the top 1%, but this is still a really cool prize.
And then towards the end of the month, I decided to go with Marley to the Oogie Boogie Bash in Disney's California Adventure. We had a ton of fun, got a bunch of candy, went home, stayed awake for 4 hours. My dad and I left straight on a flight to Orlando so that I could have a surprise late senior graduation gift of going to Walt Disney World. We had a ton of fun. I would love to do that again in the future, especially when the Tron ride is open in the Magic Kingdom. Everything there was so much fun. I had a great experience. I couldn't thank my dad enough for doing it, but it was truly magical and a great time. But when I came back, Marley had not one but two little objectives. So I was busy doing a thing for a few days, and Marley left me 30 sticky notes, or 31 sticky notes around my room, and I have yet to this day to find them all. And then she decided to go and hide 50 tiny ducks. Those ducks in those cups. 50 tiny ducks around the house. Not just my room, the house. I found 30 something as of today. I'm never going to find them all. She is crazy. She's scary. At some point, I went and took Cassie up to IMAX headquarters once again to see a special screening of the first 2 episodes of Apple's C. It's the only time it was ever going to be shown in IMAX. It was with Collider's screening series. Really cool experience. We had no idea what we were getting into. It's something, that's for sure. But it was a really cool experience. And then we took Marley down to a cat cafe, not a maid cafe, but a cat cafe for a little 21st birthday surprise. We had a ton of fun. And then I went and played some games with Cassie for her 21st birthday. And then just because games, escape rooms, my grandparents moved down from Orange County to where I am currently. And I more or less adopted their cat, Monkey. She is adorable. She is feisty. I love her very much.
Monkey! Yeah? Oh, hello. Oh, hello.
And that's that. We're here. We are at the end of this decade of 2019. So much happened, and yet we still have 2 days of experiences to go through. And I really needed to get this video out, not just because it's the decade, but because today, the 30th, I am having to put my dog Bo down. I've had him for almost 15 years. He was born on February 16th, and he is currently 14, and he is going through some health issues that popped up out of nowhere, and I really wanted to get at least one more video done where he was in it, because he has been in my life longer than any of my current friends have, and he has always been my best friend, and I'm really going to miss him. But he lived a fantastic life. He didn't have a single mean bone in his body. He was always loving, and the one thing that I hope he leaves behind is the fact that you were always able to be kind to people on the first meeting of someone, because that's what he was. He was a sweet dog. He always cared, always loved, was always kind, and I couldn't thank him enough. So let me go get him real quick. So that's that. This is the end of the video. To future Isaac, I don't have anything written for you outside of I really hope everything is going well for you, and that if you're coming back to take a look at the past, everything's fine. I'm okay. Everything's happened for a reason, and we'll be okay. To current Isaac, who is going to have to edit this tonight, tomorrow, I'm sorry. It was like 4,500 words. I tried to go as well as I could. It's about 12:30 a.m. on the 30th, and I have today and tomorrow to do it. I'm sorry. And to anyone else who's watching this, thank you for supporting my channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, consider hitting subscribe. I make videos when I feel that I've made something good enough to share with the world. I will hopefully start making more regular content, Disney focused, or at least the California resort focused towards the end of January, as I will have a pass that allows me to go without paying $25 per parking for a visit. And I want to pay that off somehow. So again, thank you all so much for coming. I will see you in the next one. Isaac, signing off.